Well, we're on our way over to Garagemahall because it's, are you ready for it? Finished!
Ta-da!
Well, we shouldn't say finished.
Nothing's ever finished.
Nothing's ever finished.
Not with us, it's not.
It has reached a milestone. It has reached a point where, between all the various things that are still left to be done, we're ready to start unpacking the thousands of models and toys that we have stored in boxes over there and putting them away and figuring out just what the heck we have that has been collected over the last 30 years and stuck in boxes. So it's actually really exciting.
It is. Like
it's Christmas. Sort of like Uber Christmas. Yeah.
Christmas all over again.
So who knows? We may find Kittles. We may find promotional automobiles. Who knows what we're going to find? Yeah. We're looking forward to it. So this is going to be a good deal of fun. Garagemahall. Tom Ruff and I started working on what we called Garage Studios back in 1972 as a place to build a pipe organ. But we had both been recording audio for bands through the 60s, and we went right on doing that in the garage. This is Steve Cato doing a motion picture soundtrack in the studio. Our equipment was, old and a bit disheveled. But for the 1970s, it was actually state-of-the-art. This is our Crown stereo mastering machine. We were getting enough important work at the studio that we found we had to move to a downtown location in Salt Lake. We subsequently both moved to Southern California. I'm back in Salt Lake now. This is Lab 6, the 6th studio, hence Lab 6. And back in Salt Lake City again. This left Garage Studios in a bit of disrepair. But after a good deal of thought, it occurred to me that this would be the ultimate place for a model shop. Now, as you guys know, about three and a half years ago, I was forced into early retirement at my employment in Southern California and removed back here to Salt Lake City. And about 2 years ago, started rebuilding the Garage Studios into Garagemahall. Got Steve Stribble, who's been here on the channel a lot with his O-scale model railroad, to build it as a train station-looking affair. Turned out actually quite cool. The inside still required a good deal of work, but, I had started the show, and as you guys also know, I met my wonderful wife, Karen, through the show. And so between the show and getting married and a whole bunch of other things, work sort of got slower here. So we just turned up the speed and decided to go ahead and get this sucker finished. And as you can see, Garagemahall is now ready for Karen and I to start unpacking and moving into the attic here the thousands of toys and plastic models that we've been collecting over our whole lives. Most of these things have been stored here at Garagemahall in the eastern side, which we will be working on once we get all this stuff put away. As I've said, the garage tends to look a bit like the last scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark, so it's going to take a while to unpack all this stuff and properly put it all away. It's amazing what a lifetime of collecting leaves you in terms of collectible models and so on. This is Steve. Hi, Steve. Steve Stribble, who built the place. He also built that cool O-scale railroad that we featured a lot on the channel. And this is Al Badham, O-scale modeler extraordinaire, helping us put stuff away. He did the tree video here on the channel. I've always had a fascination with 8-scale automobiles, so that's some of the first things we put away. But there's trains and all kinds of stuff here too. For this first day, we mostly just concentrated on finding the automobiles But there were a lot of trains and so on mixed in with the cars. This is Don Hendrickson, who builds those incredible brass locomotives. He's been featured on the channel. But we're really starting to get this mess straightened out and everything put away. And look who turned up. This is Batfink. He's been missing for over 15 years. I thought he was stolen, but he turned up just fine and healthy in one of the boxes. Well, in a somewhat unrelated and yet related note, you may have heard of the passing of Dan Haggerty this week. Kind of sad.
So sad.
Our dear friend Dan Haggerty. Dan and I worked together way back in the 70s, and I bring it up, A, because he just passed away, but B, because we were recording sound there at what we call Garage Studios, now Garagemahall, and one of the projects that we were working on was Grizzly Adams with Dan Haggerty. And I was doing sound design on that project with a lot of other people.
It was my favorite show back then. I never missed an episode.
It was fun.
I loved that show.
I have to say it was also my dog's favorite show. Fritz, he'd be pissed off at me if I didn't put on Grizzly Adams. He loved Grizzly Adams, and he'd sit there, and occasionally he would attack the television set. But that's probably a story for another day. But
yes,
he really loved Ben the Bear, and he may have on some screwy level related to the fact that the sound coming out of that bear wasn't really bear sound; it was me making bear sounds. So I want to show you how I went about doing that. In honor of Dan and his passing, and also some of the fun we used to have back in the days of Garage Studios.
Wow.
So this is my collection of Nagra recorders. These were the state of the art in field recording till about 1980. Okay, so this is how this is going to work then. This is the Nagra recorder, Nagra 4L. And I'm going to go into record with this running at a high speed at 15 inches per second. And now I'm going to pretend to be a bear. Now when Ben would get inquisitive, he would go Okay, now that I have my bear recorded, I will rewind. Okay, but I'm not going to play it back at the same speed that we recorded it at. I'm going to slow it down. And the speed control is up under the tape here. And we should hear a bear.
Ben! Ben! Ben, there's blood on this fox fur. I need you to help me pick up the track. Can you do that?
This is Don Shanks, who played Nakoma. You will not find a nicer human being on this planet. And this is my cousin John Bishop, who was also in the show. This is a somewhat more recent photo.
Ben, let's go.
Well, these were some wonderful times, and yet life does move on, and what was no longer is, and so Garage Studios is now becoming Garagemahall. But I think it's important to keep in mind that nothing is ever really lost. It simply evolves into something else.
Maybe there's a world where we don't have to run, and maybe there's a time we'll call our own, living free in harmony and majesty. Take me
Well, there you have it. Garagemahall, which is coming right along.
Isn't that
We'll
something?
be doing a lot of things from Garagemahall in the
Right.
future here.
Yeah.
And setting up different pieces of equipment and talking about that. And it's just going to be an enormous amount of fun as we get Garagemahall up on its feet. It doesn't actually have feet. That's an expression. We're going to be getting it up on its feet. But
Bare feet.
bare feet,
Bare
exactly.
feet.
We're still doing movie soundtracks, of course, but not at the Garage Studio, now over at Lab 6.
Right.
And so it goes.
We barely have enough time.
We barely have enough time. Ben the Bear.
In there.
So anyway, if you haven't been over to the website, do pop on over to the website. That's toymantelevision.com. Of course, the YouTube channel here on YouTube, Toyman Television. You should subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed, because this blue button, which is popping in right here, will subscribe you to the channel. If you're already a subscriber and you just want to get to the brilliant movies that are already over there, you can still click on that and it'll just take you over to the channel and you can watch, I think we're up to 115 movies.
Is it all that already? Wow, that's going fast.
Crazy fun. So there's a bunch of stuff over there, some of which involves bears, some which does not. But there's a whole variety of different things over there. And it all starts with the blue button popping in now, right down in here. Well, we're not sure how you found this movie on the internet. We hope you didn't find it boring.
She found it boring.
She found it boring. She's asleep, of course. We will see you here again in 1 week with some more significant screwing around. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.